Welcome, kids, to Water, your friend for life.
What percentage of water are you?
I'm like 99% water.
Hmm.
I carry it most up here.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about water. Uh, Water is a very, very important molecule.
Hmm.
Super important. It's called the solvent of life, which is why we're always looking for it on other planets. Water is a polar molecule. He enjoys long walks on the beach, and I really don't know what else water
Do
enjoys.
you know what polarity means?
I do know what polarity means. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to show you here. So water is a polar molecule, meaning there's an unequal distribution of the shared electrons in its covalent bonds, and there also is a presence of unshared pairs. So here are the unshared pairs on the valence electrons of the oxygen,
Okay.
and then right here are our shared pairs. Um, Oxygen's a big bully, doesn't like to share his toys equally, so he's got those shared electrons more often around him than the hydrogen atoms do. Does
Okay.
that make sense, sort of? Okay, so because water is polar, it actually is able to dissolve a lot of different things. It's able to dissolve ionic compounds, many ionic compounds, not all of them, and also other polar compounds.
And that's where like dissolves like comes in.
Exactly.
Polar dissolves polar.
Exactly. And ionic is basically extremely polar,
Hmm.
positive and negative
It's not unequal
ions.
sharing.
Exactly. So we use water in our bodies, and it's the solvent of life. It is also the medium where all chemistry, chemical, and biological reactions take place. So let's actually look at a bunch of water molecules.
What
that
does
are,
that little symbol mean?
Oh, that
Oh,
little
you have
symbol?
it on this one too.
I have it on this one too, yeah. Are you talking about this little symbol right
Yeah.
here and this little symbol right here? Thanks for pointing that out. That's a delta negative and a delta positive. That means slightly positive and slightly negative.
Okay.
So not ionic compounds where it's all the way positive and all the way negative
Okay.
ions. All right, so if we look here, we've got a whole bunch of water molecules bonded together in a certain type of bond that we call
Hydrogen bond.
hydrogen bonds. So right here are our hydrogen bonds between adjacent water molecules. This is how water molecules stick together. This also makes them quite able to engage in what we call dissolution of other compounds, ionic and polar covalent. All right, so let's pretend you have something come along like sodium chloride. Well, sodium chloride is not just NaCl. It's made up of ions, so it's not this. It's sodium ions and chloride ions.
Okay. And they have charges.
They have
So they'll be
charges.
attracted to the opposite charges.
Right, so this sodium ion that's positive might be attracted to this negative end of one of the oxygen molecules, and the chloride will be attracted perhaps to a positive end, hydrogen. And so therefore we can break it up.
Okay.
Same thing goes for other polar covalent molecules such as, let's see, let's say we have NH3. It's a trigonal pyramid structure.
Oh, back to
And you've
that.
got this lone pair right here, which will actually be attracted to that slightly positive portion, and then the hydrogens will be attracted to the slightly negative portion over
Okay.
here.
So that's a polar covalent.
That's a polar covalent, and that's how it's attracted to these water molecules, and how those water molecules can actually help break it up and
Okay.
dissolve it. So something like, in the last example here, something like CH4, well, if we draw it out, it's a tetrahedral structure.
Oh, you keep going back to that Vesper stuff.
Always back to the Vesper. So tetrahedral, is that a polar molecule?
No, that's nonpolar.
It's nonpolar, it's not ionic, so we have an equal sharing of all the charges. So do you
Okay.
think this molecule right here is going to dissolve in water?
Nope.
Certainly not. It's nonpolar, it's not like polar. So therefore, like dissolves like, nonpolar is not involved in that group.
Okay.
Any other things that you want them to know about water?
It's important.
It's important. Great. So drink a glass or two today
Of water.
of water.